Good morning. It's Thursday. It's backyard day. Let's see if we can get that done quickly and then what else we can get done. Yeah, it's Thursday. I haven't recorded anything else this week. There have been projects going on inside. So now I'm finally to the outside and trying to keep up with everything. So let's go in the backyard and get that done. Well, I spent a bit more time on the backyard than I thought, especially I ended up over in the tomato bush, if you will. There was a lot more tomatoes in there than I thought, and there was some kind of spider kind of building webs up over some of the branches, and not sure what that's about. I'm hoping it's not too bad. I cut a bunch of it off because it really kind of needed to be cut back anyway. And that pretty much took care of the tomatoes. Did a little cleanup on some of the other stuff. I'm not sure how clear that's going to be in the time lapse, but also on the swimming pool I just swept the sides because I just want to try and get the dirt off rather than go into a full vacuum. I got to check the chemicals and do a little correction there, but other than that, next thing up, let's go to the side yard. Okay, now that we moved over here, there's a few things to address. One, we got a ton of weeds. The pump is running because I just put some more chemicals in the pool and I just want to make sure they get mixed in, so I'll let that run for a little while. But I got all these weeds to deal with here. I've got the orange tree, which is starting to, it's been producing oranges all year, if you think about it. That's how they grow. But you get about once a season crop, and this will probably be about January. They're still kind of yellow, but I've got them falling all over the place. So I need to deal with, see, there's another one there. There's a couple of them up there. So I want to get those cleaned up, and I want to see about, maybe I'll trim back some of these branches. This is not as bad as, see, there's another one. Fallen way over here. I think that's actually the other orange tree there. So you can see a couple of them are turning orange, but that's later in the year ultimately, and they need to get bigger. But this orange tree is growing into the lemon tree. The lemon tree is starting to reach over the house. The lemon tree is growing into the tangerine tree, and maybe I could cut like right up there. So I want to get some of that done. I also just in general want to kind of sweep up back here. As far as the garden itself, if you look up above, I may have to, let me see if I can zoom in here. The green bell pepper, that's what I was trying to remember. So there's one on there. And it's getting bigger and bigger. I'm going to let it keep growing. If it starts changing color, that'll tell me that it's not going to get any bigger. So we got two of them off there already. They were pretty good. I think that's the only one up there, but I've been surprised before. And we've got the plumeria is doing nicely. The 4 o'clocks are doing nicely. Just a general sort of garden update. And the nasturtium are doing really well, while other things are kind of struggling. So I'm kind of thinking as like a green mulch kind of thing, or a ground cover, if you will. I've got a ton of nasturtium seeds. So I may just start planting nasturtium, at least on the bottom here, and not worry about the other plants that I planted. If they grow up, I'll pull a nasturtium. Let's see, the yard longs don't look like they took off. That's okay. I wasn't really expecting a whole lot. I have to get some for next year. The squash plants don't look like they're growing. So again, I might throw some nasturtium seeds up there because I don't get it. We're watering once a week and they're doing quite well. But anyway, let me get set up, get the music going, and we'll get back to cleaning. Okay, it definitely does smell like oranges, so I picked one. You can see it's not, well, actually the sunlight's kind of messing with the picture, I think. It's not that sort of fluorescent yellow. This is a navel orange, so-called because of the navel, belly button, if you will. And it's not as big as it should be. I'm trying to put my thumbnail in there and peel it a little bit. I'm just curious. I'm expecting it's going to be a little drier because it hasn't had the time to absorb and store all the water, and it's not going to be as sweet. Let's see. Alright, well, I got part way. We're getting there. Alright. Really, this is just a question so we can see if it's worth, the ones that I just cut off, if they'll actually be worth like squeezing or trying to eat. So, see if I can't separate it at this point. Yes, orange slices in November. Let's find out. Actually, it's not half bad. It's a little, okay, it's a little bit more sour. But, I mean, I don't know, rather than just toss them out, I'll talk to the parents and see what they want to do. But that does kind of solve a couple of problems, just cutting those branches off. So, yeah, let me finish this up and we'll get back to cleaning. think that's probably enough for one day. There's still a bunch more to go. I got the area sort of cleared. It may not look totally like that because there's other trees in the background. But I got the area, I got the two trees off each other on this side. I got the trees off the house. That's good. What I didn't get to was this connection here. This is really intertwined, and there's eucalyptus that's dropped from the trees way in the background that just blows over on the wind. The tricky part about this one is that the tangerine tree here has grown up the hill, kind of. It's hard to explain, but hopefully tomorrow or the next day I'll get back out here and I'll be able to kind of just take the camera up there and show you how overgrown it is way in the back there. And the trick is, I mean, I could cut a bunch of that off and throw it in the trash, whatever, but there is a bumper crop here. The problem is if I pull too much off the back, then it's going to be front heavy and it may fall again. We've had this once before where this tree actually uprooted and fell towards the house. Fortunately, no damage. We got a winch and some angle iron, drove that into the hill, pulled that sucker back up, put a rope around it, and let it sit for about 6 months, and it re-rooted itself, which is good. And that was probably, what, 7-8 years ago? But I mean, you could just see how much fruit there is there, and as those get bigger, it's going to get heavier and heavier. So I got to come up with a strategy. Either we just cut this tree back so I can get some of the stuff off the back, or we take our chances. I don't know. I'm going to ask my dad what he wants to do. It's his tree, his house. I just do all this stuff. Yeah, so that's kind of where we are. The other tree, I only cut a little bit off the front, but if you look, you can kind of see it's growing up the back there. If I let that keep growing, it'll prevent it from rolling forward to the house, but some of that fruit's going to be hard to get to, although the further it goes up the hill, the easier it'll be to kind of reach in and pick them. So yeah, and I've got I planted a bunch of nasturtium down in the lower level here, so I'm going to go ahead and run the sprinklers for a couple of minutes just to water them in, and then not again until Saturday. But yeah, pretty good day's work, I think. That's it for now. Let's see what tomorrow brings. Good morning and welcome to a foggy front yard Friday. It's front yard day and I'm going to try and take care of that. It's mow and blow, but honestly it doesn't look like the lawn necessarily needs to be mowed, and since we're coming up on Thanksgiving, I think what I'll do is actually do another mow and blow on the day before Thanksgiving, just so it all looks nice and presentable when we have guests over. So that's the plan. Also, my knee is, I'm kind of feeling it. So I think what it was climbing up on the hill yesterday. That just sort of put some stress on the muscles around my knee. It's not the knee where it got injured before. It's just everything around it. And I think it's just weak from a lack of doing that, and climbing up on a steep hill like that and trying to stabilize yourself, you end up using every muscle. So I'm just going to be careful this morning, but I do want to try and do some trimming and get to the actual weed whacking, edging, and then the leaf blower. So let's see what we can get done. Okay, so that took a little bit more effort than I thought it would. I ended up deciding to kind of clean out the bed a bit. That'll make it look that much better. I still need to trim the tree up there, but I'm also looking at the pine tree there. I want to give it a little bit better shape, but the other thing I'm noticing is that there's a bunch of branches hanging right up over the car, so I'll be careful about that. So I'm going to take a look at this for a couple of minutes, decide what I'm going to do. Probably not a whole lot, because this grows a lot slower than the others, but yeah, we'll see. I'll see what I can come up with. Alright, well, took a little effort. I did not mow the lawn. My back is getting sore. Yeah, one of my lights is down, but I had to move it. Anyway, did some trimming, did some other trimming, did a lot of cleaning, did some edging, and blew everything and swept up. Not bad for days, well, for a couple hours work. Full day, I would have gotten a lot more done. But yeah, I think that's it for today. Let's see what tomorrow brings.